g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Welcome to another Ask the Cheeseman. Hopefully, all technical issues aside, it's all working, which is good. Oh, it's good to have my cheese shirt back on and to see everybody here. Looks like we've got quite a crowd today, which is absolutely fantastic. First of all, of course, welcome to Ask the Cheeseman, episode 135. And we've been scheduling these every 3-ish weeks, which kind of works with Kim's chemo schedule, which is pretty good. Now, we're going to have to move it from Wednesday next week. She's, for those who don't know, she's going on to a different regime, so it's going to be weekly sessions instead. And, of course, it's going to be on the day that the podcast is on. Not the podcast, the live stream. So we're going to be moving it to, I think, Tuesday, so a day earlier than it is now. So stay tuned for that. We will we'll reschedule it and you'll see it on YouTube. But yeah, we'll reschedule it and we'll see how she goes after the first session. But I'll let everybody know via the community tab. So those who have a mobile device and have YouTube on it, you'll see that you get notifications from the community tab in your stream. So that's where I'll announce what's going on, okay, if I haven't already scheduled something, so you'll know either way. Okay, so g'day to lots of new patrons, which is fantastic. Hello to Wiley Walker. G'day, Wiley. Bash Coda, g'day Bash, thanks for your patronage. Rain Francis, thank you Rain for your patronage over on Patreon. Jeptrop Vladowich, I think that's how you pronounce it. Thank you very much for your patronage. And Grant Milliam, thank you Grant for your monthly ongoing support. Also on YouTube memberships, got a new member, Silvio Chicotio, I think that's how you say it, or Chicotio, something like that. We'll see how we go. But thank you very much, Silvio, for your monthly ongoing patronage on YouTube members. And you can tell the YouTube members, you can tell them by their names in green usually, and they've got a little cheesy icon next to it. Patrons, I haven't been able to integrate that into the chat to show that you're there, but you know you're there, okay? You know you're there. Ongoing videos this week that are in post. I got 14 ways with whey, which I've just got to film the last little bit, and then I'll do the video over the weekend. The podcast channel is definitely live and kicking. We'll just have a look at that. So there's the podcast channel, Little Green Cheese. It's the podcast hosted by yours truly. And we're up to episode 22 on the podcast channel. So those who want to go and check it out, I'll pop the link into the chat. And we'll have a look at that. Hang on. Here we go. There we go. There's the link to the podcast YouTube channel. Now, they're audio only at the moment, but they will eventually become video near about episode 76 or something. And as soon as it catches up, we'll be doing regular ones of those every week, I hope. Okay, and then in pre-production, so checking out recipes and stuff like that, I'm doing a Morbier, which has been promised, and that's with cow's milk. And then I'm going to do a goat's milk cheddar as well. I'm trying to set up a sponsorship deal with a goat's milk manufacturer here in Australia. So we'll see if that pans out. If not, I'll just go and buy it from the supermarket. I know I'm cheap. But yeah, we'll see how that turns out. All right, let's get on to some hellos. Due to a issue with scheduling this morning. I accidentally had the schedule set for 8:10 a.m. my time. It's really 8:30, so it was 20 minutes earlier than it should have been. I don't know how people got notifications, but they did. But first cab off the rank at 7:17 a.m. this morning was Rain. G'day, Rain. Thanks for all of your comments, your lovely comments over on the podcast channel. For every episode, there's a comment from Rain. So if you want to go and check out Rain's lovely comments, go and check out the podcast channel. We got Palentis Max. I think that's how you say it. G'day, how are you? Got John. G'day, John. We'll get to all the questions in a little bit. Patricia, and I don't know if Patricia's still there. Ambrose, g'day Ambrose. Larry from Deep South, Texas. You got Jeff, g'day Jeff. Manuel, Manuel, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, that's it. Manuel. We got Wicket. We got Steve, Ocean, then. Who else? Brug, Medini. Hope they're all there. Mr. X, that'll do. Jordan, g'day Jordan. Who else? Hannah. My goodness, first time round there was lots of people. Oh, there's 45 now, so that's fine. Have I missed anybody? D Dreamberry 2. Myself. Oh, there's me. Laura, g'day Laura. John Lord, g'day mate, all the way from California, I think. San Francisco, sounds good. Four Country Gals, g'day, how are you? Lovely to see you. Zammy, g'day Zammy. NW Stephen, g'day Stephen. John Herbert, g'day Herbert. And hopefully you got my message yesterday, Herbert, about the order we shipped off for you, so that was lovely. Who else we got there? Kristen, g'day Kristen. Alan, hello Alan. Steve, g'day Steve, lovely to see you mate, and your lovely curd harps. Good on you mate. Daniel, g'day Daniel. Justin, oh goodness me, where are we? We got hundreds, so many. Adin Rose, g'day mate. Did I say Alan already? Reap what you sow. JT, so many people. Robert, oh, it's all there. Oh, they're all coming out of the woodwork. My goodness. Bullant, I think that's how you say it, from Istanbul. G'day, mate. Rod, and there we go. Alrighty. Very cool. Let's get on with some questions, shall we? Yep, that's all the things I wanted to say up front. And we've got all the g'days. And, right, all the way back to the start on the scrolly thing. There we go. John, first question says, could you do a horseradish cheddar cheese? Of course, I could do anything. Whether I get around to doing it's a different thing, but we'll have a look. Now, I would use real horseradish. Horseradish cheddar. I'm putting it on the list, but we all know what happens to the list, don't we? It happens eventually. Okay, so horseradish cheddar. I'd use real horseradish. I'd probably try and dehydrate it in the oven maybe a little bit first before I used it, and I'd mill it in with the curds, similar to what I do when I make, say, any stir curd cheddar with like the jalapeno one that I did, and the what was it, the peppercorns one as well. So that would be cool. Rain says, Gavin, I made your Parmesan last August and it's at 6 months. Am I better off waiting longer to open it? Yeah, I would. I don't normally crack open Parmesan until at least 10 months because the flavour just doesn't develop. It takes a really long time to get that strong Parmesan flavour. So, yeah, leave it a little bit longer, 10 months, 12's best. With these smaller wheels, but at 6 months, the flavour just really won't be there. The smell may be, but the flavour won't. Patricia asks, how's the Morbier going along? Like I said, before, Patricia. It hasn't yet, but it will be. So it's on the list of videos to make. It's gone from the on the page request to my list of videos that I'm scheduling to make. So that's a start. Um, Palentis Max says, "What cheese can I store outside the fridge when it's maturing?" Sorry for my grammar mistakes. That's okay. It looks fine. Um, what cheese can I store outside the fridge? Depends on what your room temperature is. The very first few hard cheeses that I made, way back in the day, 2009, I think the first hard cheese or semi-hard cheese was Wensleydale, and I waxed it. I actually kept it in the linen cupboard or the linen press. That's what we call it here. That's where you store all your towels and your sheets and stuff like that. Because it was winter and in the cupboard, it seemed to be cooler than the rest of the house. So it was at about 13 degrees already. So I stored it in there. That's the only time I would do that. If you've got a basement or something like that, then or something like that, it's the best place to mature it. Other than that, you're going to have to get yourself a some sort of cheese fridge to mature it in and keep it around 13. Depends on what cheese it is, of course. Rain says, I had to look up more beer. That's delicious. Yeah, it looks pretty good. The little black line in the middle is basically just ash. And that can be either French ash, which is from vine leaves, if I remember rightly, or there is activated charcoal, which you can use as well, which is made from coconut husks. You can use either or, it's the same thing, it's just carbon. And the reason they put the ash line there was they made the cheese in two batches because it's a really large cheese when they make it for real. And they put down the curds of the first batch, and then they just put ash from the bottle of the kettle, the copper kettle. They heated the milk up, spread that on the top to stop the curds from going off. And then the next day, when they make the next batch of curds, they throw that on the top. That's why there's a little line in the middle. Now, that line these days is artificial because when I make mine, it's going to be the same, um, the same batch of curds, and I'm going to split it in half. So that's the reason why that black line is in Morbier. Manuel says, Gavin, how can I make a cheese very soft in the middle and a dry natural rind? All of my cheeses end up like cheddar, but I would like the melted one in the interior. Ooh, okay. There's one cheese that kind of looks like that already. It's quite soft in the middle. It's not oozy soft. It's just soft. Now, if you go and check out my recent kefili video, you'll see the rind's quite hard and the inside paste is very soft. It's not like camembert where you get a kind of semi-firm rind and a runny interior. But if you're talking about semi-hard sort of cheeses and kefilis to go. So, Kim, if you can put the link up to the kefili, that would be fantastic, love. Jeff says, greetings from Beijing. I didn't know you could get through the great Chinese firewall there, mate. But yeah, thank you, mate, for turning up. Francis says, do you always measure pH levels before proceeding to the rennet stage? I'm rereading Cordwell's Mastering Artisan Cheesemaking. You can. I don't. I like to keep it nice and simple. As you've seen, Rain, on most of my videos, there is hardly any mention of pH unless it's absolutely necessary in the process. So things like pasta filata cheeses really do. You need some way to measure the pH of the milk, the curd, or the whey, whatever. That's to determine when to stretch the cheese. So pasta filata cheeses is the only time I would actually use pH levels. I think in the fake camembert I did put a pH step in there. That's because it was the first time I was making that one. It turned out absolutely fantastic, which was the stabilized paste bloomy rind cheese, which is how they make camemberts today out of pasteurized milk. But that was the only other time I've put a pH step into a cheese making video. I like to keep it simple so people don't need the, high tech equipment. I know pH meter's not high tech, but they are expensive when you get a good one. So, anyway, I hope that answered your question. But you can measure the pH at any stage of the cheese making. If you're writing out a recipe sheet and you want to replicate that cheese exactly the same as you made it last time, then it's best to write down your pH steps. So when the milk's first, so the milk before you add anything to it, the milk after you've added the cultures and they have ripened, which is just before renneting. And then I would also check the pH of the curds, probably just before you drain it. And that'll be about the last time you could check. You could probably check if you had a probe style pH meter, then you could check the pH of the cheese after it's pressed, but then you're going to get a hole on it. But you just patch that up a little bit. Anyway, hope that helps, Ryan. Larry says, did Gavin forget to set the alarm clock? Yeah, I set the alarm clock on YouTube the wrong time. So sorry about that, Larry. I know you're back, so that's great. Where else we got? Wicket says, can I make my own cheese press? How? Okay, and Jordan did answer Wicket there, but there is a video that I made, and Kim, if you can put the link up to the I think it's do it yourself cheese press video, and you'll see so many examples, no specifics, but you get a whole bunch of ideas on cheese presses that home cheese makers have made in the cheese making community. Because that's where I got the ideas, and I asked people to send me a whole bunch of photos and stuff via email. So I put this video together on how they press their cheese. So it's pretty good. Okay. All right. Mr. X Guile says, dear Gavin, what's the main difference between MM100 and MM30? I think that's MO30. Can I use both for Gouda? Would there be a difference in a house for each MM number? I think. Okay, yeah. So MM100. Let me just bring up this wonderful list. I'll just find it. And bear with me, 2 seconds. Won't take long. Cheese. Where is my cheese stuff? There we go. Little green cheese. That's me. Cultures. Here we go. This will be good fun. Let's put it on that screen so everybody can see. And hopefully we'll see. Righto. So here's the cultures guide. You get a copy of this for free if you pop over to Mary Carlin's website, Artisan Cheese Making at Home. She's got these really handy references. So we're looking for, what we say, MM100. So here it is here. If you can see that. You'll notice it has 3 cultures or 3 different types of strains. So Lactobacillus lactis, subspecies lactis, and subspecies cremoris, and LD. What the heck is LD? I do remember it's a little table here somewhere. LD. Here we are. Subspecies lactis biovar diacetylus. Okay, so that produces a creamy feel in the mouth. So it's the normal 2 mesophilics plus something that makes a buttery feel in the mouth. MO30, on the other hand, if it's in this list, which it is, here it is here, you can see that there's only 2 basic cultures which are used. Can you use it for Gouda? Let's have a look. No, it's a clean flavour, no diacetyl, Colby, Monterey Jack, Feta, Sherv. All right, so what's MA100? Is used for Brie, Camembert, Havarti, Gouda, Edam. Yeah, so look, I have used MO30 in the past for Gouda before I knew better, and it tasted okay. It was fine. Tasted like Gouda to me. So it's the actual washing of the curds during the cheese making process that produces the flavour. The cultures do have a fair bit to do with it, but the flavour is produced by lowering the overall acid in the curds by washing the curds. So you will get a lovely Gouda flavour. Anyway, I hope that helps. But if you can get your hands on MM100 by Danisco, I think it is, Danisco, choose it, then that's probably preferred for Gouda rather than MO30, which is better for cheddar style things, cheddar, Colby, Monterey Jack, that sort of thing. So hopefully that answered your question. Alrighty, next question is Rain says, you just never know why people are late. There you go. Could be loss of internet or power, and where I am in Canada, we lose power frequently the last few days due to high winds. And then Patricia says, doesn't Gav generate his own power? Yep, I do. But we don't have backup, so if the mains goes off, the grid goes off, we go down too, unfortunately. I don't have one of those Tesla power walls yet. I'm thinking about it. It's very complicated here in Australia. I'm on a premium feed-in tariff, so I get 72 cents per kilowatt hour. They pay me. Soon that goes away in 3 years' time or something, so I'm just going to use all the solar into a Tesla Powerwall if anybody's interested. But I might put something like that up on my blog channel, which is pretty cool. Okay. Rain says, I hope it's not a family emergency. No, we're all good. And as you can see, Kim's online as well. Hannah says, is there any way to save the excess blue mold that I scrape from outside my blue cheese for future batches? Yeah, indeed. You can just freeze it. So put it into a little Ziplocky bag thing, zip it up so it's airtight, and pop it in the freezer. And then you can add it to milk to make another blue cheese later on. Penicillium Roquefort does survive the freezing process very, very well if you scrape some of the blue off. So, yeah, why not? Go for it, Hannah. Palentus Max says, I have 2 jerseys here, Jersey cows that is. What is the best cheese for somebody starting a cheese business? Well, learn to make cheese first before you start a cheese business. But yeah, you probably already know. If you've got 2 cows, you're probably making cheese coming out your wazoo. So let me think. Best cheese, I don't know. It depends on your customer base. You really don't know. So you need to try some of the easier cheeses to make with family and friends to see which they prefer, which ones they like, and then there's a fair chance that the market will determine which direction to go in. Very hard to say. What's going on here? All right, Larry said, while we're waiting, I have a sad story. I finally found unhomogenized milk, 3 gallons for cheddar cheese. Everything went well, but the cheese coming out of the press was only 2 pounds, 2 ounces. Any idea what went wrong? For 3 gallons, you get about a kilo, more than a kilo, that's for sure. Don't know what's going on with yield there, mate. Did you check the fat content? Maybe that had something to do with it. Ambrose says, hi, Gavin. I hope everything is okay. Yes, indeed. My mum stuck my cream cheese in the freezer. Will it be okay when I defrost it? Oh, yeah, maybe. I did that once and it kind of like separated a little bit, so I had to stir it back in again to reincorporate it. So that may happen. So yeah, you just check it out. Where are we? Next question. Moving right along. Everybody's diagnosing Larry's problem there. That's cool. I'll let them get on with it. Oh, here we go. One from Laura. Hey, this is the first time in the second stream. Oh, cool. And it's 8:54 where I am, and I'm only up to the questions from 8:15. Go figure. That's what happens when you only have an Ask the Cheese Man once every 3 weeks. The questions just build up, don't they? Nice coffee. All right. Laura said, hello, I goofed and didn't flip my goat's milk gouda multiple times a week as per your recipe. I was flipping it once a week for the first 2 months. How might this inconsistency affect the result? Laura, I don't think it will actually. Doing it multiple times per week is usually only in the first 2 weeks. So if you've still flipped it once a week, the flipping of the cheese helps the fat globules distribute evenly through the cheese. So it ripens evenly through the cheese. So you don't get ripe parts and then unripe parts. And anyway, more to do really with really large cheeses. I think they nearly flip them daily. But weekly is a compromise for home cheese makers. So as long as you keep doing it. And sometimes the softer ones tend to bulge on the bottom if you don't turn them weekly. So, yeah, that's what I would advise. Weekly is fine. You'll be fine. For instance, for the buttermilk blue that I recently made, I only flipped that every 2 weeks in the 6-week ripening period before I wrapped it in foil because the mold on the outside was so delicate because it was going so creamy on the inside, just under the rind, that is. I didn't want to rip the blue mold part. Well, we've got our first curd nerd, Chris B. Thank you, Chris, for your $5 donation. I'll kill the light. Hang on. What's going on here? Oh, Face ID. Stop it. Right, there we go. Kill the light. Thank you, Chris. Chris's question is, hi, Gavin. My cheese in ripening box often go orange from bee linens. If so, where do you think it is coming from? Solutions. I had this happen to me not so long ago, Chris, and I found that it was, I don't know about the ripening box you were using, but the one I had, the little pop lid thing, the little red thing on top. I don't know if everybody's got one, but I found that there was mold just under the rubber seal, and that's where it was growing from. So it'll regrow every time. Didn't matter how much I sanitized it through the dishwasher. So what I had to do was pull that little bit apart and clean it out. And then what I did with all of the ripening boxes, the red wide ones that I had to put them into a bleach solution. So I used a little bit of bleach in the sink. It's 20 mils per 2 litres, which is safe for cheese making, and sanitize them all. And I haven't had bee linens grow back again, which is great. So that's what I had to do, mate, unfortunately. So I hope that answers your question. You may have to go the bleach solution in your ripening boxes to get rid of them. Also, when you get bee linens in ripening boxes or on cheese, it means that it's too moist as well. Unless that's what you're trying to grow, of course. Bee linens needs a humidity around about 90%, so maybe too high in the ripening box is too moist in there, and that's what causes bee linens to grow crazy. Anyway, thank you for your kind super chat, Chris. Really appreciate it. First time in ages the old curd nerd sign's been flashing, so good to see. Alrighty. We did the question about the flipping. That's cool. Laura said, Gavin, speaking of which, I made caramel from whey and it was delicious. Hey, Laura, can you send me the recipe, please, via email if you go to the About tab on the YouTube channel. So go to this channel, go to the About tab. There's a little Contact Me button thingy. Or you go to littlegreencheese.com and go there to the contact page, whichever. Shoot me an email, I'll reply back, and then you can shoot me an attachment or whatever from the caramel way. I've been looking for a really good recipe. I don't trust it. If you've made one that's successful, I'll give it a shot because I do have a lot of whey, and I could add that to my wheys with whey. Instead of it being 14, it could be 15. How good would that be? So, Laura, I'd be in your debt, of course. Okay. All right, on to the good questions. Not that the other ones weren't good questions. John's telling everybody how to make caramel from whey and condensed milk. Thank you, John, for that. Rain says, for your Glamorgan sausages, what other type of cheese could I use if I don't have Caerphilly ready? Any cheddar, mild cheddar would be fine to make those sausages. They were just cheesy, very nice. And then you say, and lastly, is it best to brine in the cheese cave or at room temperature? Yeah, it's best to brine at 13 degrees. So I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before. But yeah, best to brine at 13 degrees Celsius. So pop it into your cheese cave if you can, because it actually absorbs more salt at a lower temperature. Don't ask me why. There's some science behind it. I've forgotten. I'm not a scientist. Um, there you go. Kristen says hello from snowy, blustery Montana. I've heard it's a bit wintry up there. Um, Alan's from Arizona. Very cool. Hopefully it's warmer there than where it is in Montana. Um, where's the next question? Looking. Um, Daniel says, my grandfather loves your channel. Cool. I'm a grandfather too, so that makes two of us. He is a cheese enthusiast. He can't eat much anymore, but thanks for all the good content and the good times he has been watching you. Much love. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Daniel's grandfather, for watching. There's a shout out to you. Thank you very much. Um, where are we? John says, good morning, Kim. You'll get the first bite of that buttermilk blue. Looks like a lawnmower tire. Yeah, it does a bit. Pretty wrinkly, isn't it? That's pretty cool. Yeah, tap the thumbs up. Hey, that'd be good. Hey, yeah, I'll just shout out. YouTube shows these videos to more people if there's more engagement. And I know that the comments are crazy and they're fantastic, and I love the chat. But if you could see your way to hitting that thumbs up button just below, it's just there somewhere, just down there, that would be lovely. And that tells YouTube that people kind of like it, and they show it to more people with their algorithmy thing. Okay. Now back down to more questions. I've lost my place, of course, as always. Um, where is it? Rain says, I made your goat's milk feta and messed up the brine. Saltier than Dead Sea salt. Oh my gosh. I will try and pay attention to the pH this time. Yeah, so if you go and check out I'm just thinking, that's why I'm looking up. That means I'm thinking. The the traditional feta, the one that I made with sheep's milk and goat's milk, I'm pretty sure there's a 10% brine solution recipe in the video, or it could even be in the goat's milk one. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I watched them. But yeah, for feta, it's a 10% solutions. Don't go the 18; it'll be way too salty. So 10%, and make sure that that the pH of the brine is about 4.6%. Okay, and you achieve that by adding a little bit of vinegar at a time and check the pH. You can also check out my tried and true brine recipe, and there's a video for that. And if Kim can put up the recipe for how to make brine for cheese making, that would be fantastic for those who don't know. Yeah, so pH of 4.6, that's why we add the vinegar. And calcium chloride to stop the ion exchange, and it's the ion exchange between the calcium ions and the brine, calcium ions in the cheese, that make it go slimy, and you'll get slimy feta, and it's yucky. But you need a firm feta. That's why we check the pH. So you don't want that ion exchange and get slimy feta. It's terrible. Okay. Manuel says, just remember Manuel. Manuel, not Manuel. Sorry, mate. It's like Manuel. There you go. Thanks, mate. Either you have hiccups or the live stream is hiccuping. Oh, I hope not. Hope it's going all right. Looks all right in the preview that I'm looking at on the other screen. Rod says, g'day from South Australia. G'day, Rod. Alan says, live stream is beautiful on my mobile and television. Oh, how good's that? Watching it on the telly. We sometimes watch YouTube on the telly too, in 4K. Fantastic. It's great. Herbert says, no, sorry, one before that, the Belgian Swede says, I tried making Gruyere for the second time, and after a month in the middle started to swell. Is this bad? I've made several cheeses now with no issues. Not bad per se. That style of cheese tends to, if you've got propionic bacteria in your local area that's native to your environment, you may get some swelling. You may get some eye formation. Gruyere tends to do that occasionally. The Gruyere I had tiny little eyes, very cute. Tasted absolutely beautiful, nutty as anything. But that may happen. Now, if you find when you open it up, there's a big fissure in it, like a big crack in the inside, then you've had some issues with late blowing caused by butyric acid, of all things. There is an additive that a lot of cheesemakers in Europe add to their milk, and it's called lysolac, and it's derived from egg whites, so it's still vegetarian friendly if you're using vegetable rennet, of course. And that prevents this late blowing, this butyric acid. Now, the butyric acid comes from the milk, and it's caused by cows eating food other than green pasture. So stuff like silage, fermented grass, that sort of stuff does cause late blowing. So very hard to check unless you're a commercial cheesemaker and you test the milk for all sorts of funky things. So as home cheesemakers, it's difficult to check for these things. So yeah, there you go. Herbert says, I just about found. Oh, sorry. No, I'll start again. Sorry, Herbert. I just bought some cheese making things. Bought. All right, there we go. Just bought some cheese making things. Yes, you did. Thank you, Herbert. But I live in the USA, Georgia. I'm having trouble finding milk to use. Any ideas? Any pasteurized, homogenized cow's milk will do, as long as you add calcium chloride, which is a mineral salt. That adds a little bit more soluble calcium to help the rennet coagulate the milk better. And I started off using pasteurized, homogenized milk in all my early cheeses, and they turned out okay. So, and sometimes when I'm feeling cheap, I'll go back to them if I can't find any unhomogenized milk. So, pasteurized, homogenized, as long as the fat content is above 3.25%, you'll see that on the back of the milk. It'll show it. It should be good to go. David says, finally able to watch a stream. Well done. Dominic says, any chance of making reblochon? There is a chance. There's always a chance, Dominic. You know me. Reblochon. It's a bit tricky. I did try to make it once before. Never put the video up, actually. Probably got the footage somewhere, but yeah, it was a flop. So I would have to try it again. I'm going to have to get some tips from who made it successfully. Used to make it in that style. Ian Trower, guy out of Alberta, Canada, who became a commercial cheesemaker, and I think now he's starting his own dairy, of all things. So I might have to go and ask him how he made his reblochon successfully. Yeah, it's always good. PUBG Mobile says, can I make halloumi cheese from sheep's whole milk powder, please? Unfortunately not. Halloumi is made from raw milk only, mainly. I've made it from pasteurized, homogenized. It worked okay. Didn't have the flavor, though. It's the raw milk, sheep's milk, goat milk combination, cow's milk, whatever you want to throw in there. It's just the style of cheese, even though traditional halloumi is made in Cyprus, in the Mediterranean. But yeah, milk powder, no, it doesn't work. I have tried it. It doesn't work at all. JT says, I love bloomy cheeses. I eat at least 20 grams each day. What is your favourite bloomy cheese? What is the easiest to make from home? My favourite bloomy cheese? I would have to say that I'm quite partial to the fake camembert. Kim and I both said it was one of the most fantastic bloomy rind cheeses we'd ever made and eaten, of course. Another favourite that comes to mind is the Bloomy Goat Blue that I made. So those two cheeses, Kim, um, if you can find the videos for those, that would be fantastic. So that's the Bloomy Goat Blue and the fake camembert. If you haven't already put that one up already, thank you, darling. Appreciate all the work you're doing there in the other room. Okay. Signor Rue says, just made cheddar last night and it's pretty white without the annatto. Should it taste the same? Indeed. Annatto doesn't impart any flavour whatsoever to cheese. And PUBG Mobile says, big fan heart. A big fan heart, as in love, I think. Good on you, mate. Boulent says, I'll be visiting Salon de Fromage in Paris, France on the 23rd of February. Will you be there by any chance? Paris is a little bit far away. It's about 16,700 kilometres from where I live. So there'll be no chance that I'll be in Paris at that time. I live in Australia, a long way away from Paris. So good one. Nice. Fricky says, which cheese provides the nuttiest flavour and how do you increase that during the making process? There's two that I've made that come to mind that have the nutty flavour, and that would be Emmentaler. So there's a very early cheese making video on Emmentaler way back in the creation of this channel, so probably in the first couple of years. Just go to the channel and search for Emmentaler. That's a really nutty cheese. And the other one, which quite surprised me, was Jarlsberg. So Jarlsberg's a fantastic Norwegian cheese on the similar lines to Swiss style things. They both have penicillium. No, what do they have? Sorry, propionic shamani is the bacteria that creates the nutty flavour and develops CO2 and creates the eyes in the cheese. So most cheeses with eyes have a nutty flavour due to the propionic shamani. I'll get the words right today. But yeah, to increase the nutty flavour, you could add a little bit more propionic shamani, but remember that creates the CO2, so the eyes will be bigger. I've even found so much so that you actually whole cheese on the inside is just one big eye. I've had that happen before. So yes, sparingly with the propionic shamani. Brug says, Gavin, what am I doing wrong? My mozzarella made from raw cow's milk is somewhat rubbery. Thanks, Bruce. Oh, your name's Bruce. Sorry, Bruce. What are you doing wrong? Oh, well, mozzarella is usually rubbery with cow's milk. Because it's a lower fat content than what buffalo's milk. So if you're making buffalo di mozzarella, which is the proper Italian version, really high fat content, we're talking about between 10 and 13% fat the buffaloes have. Pretty high. Totally different flavour and texture to the mozzarella when it's made. If you're making cow's milk mozzarella, then it's probably best to make the low moisture version, which is very similar to the one that I made, where I made mozzarella di latte, which is cow's milk mozzarella. There's a video on that, which I think, Kim, if you can find the link, I think it's called Traditional Mozzarella. It's the one where the curd is acidified with starter cultures. Works out very well. Very tasty. Not rubbery. Not as much as what 30-minute or quick mozzarella is. So that's probably best if you make that one with cow's milk. Hassan says, hi, how are you? I'm doing fine, thanks, Hassan. Rain says, your fake cams are fantastic. I have 4 that will be ready in early March. I can't wait. Thanks for the response to my pH question. You're welcome. And they will be fantastic. They are delicious. JT says, what's your favourite bloomy cheese? Did we do that already? I think we did. We did that question. Arrogant B says, hi, Gavin. I just tried making the 30-minute mozzarella, and every time my curd does not set, the milk curdles. I follow the recipe exactly. Check the milk. Usually the milk is to blame for non-setting mozzarella. So check if it's ultra pasteurized or UHT milk. They won't work at all. Normal pasteurization, it's very hard to tell because manufacturers don't put the pasteurization temperatures on the milk, of course. If you can get your hands on some raw milk, fantastic. Make it yourself that way. But usually it will be the milk that's to blame. Sometimes, though, and I should probably remake that video, the quick mozzarella video. I'll do there's two outcomes. When you add the rennet to the milk, sometimes it splits into what looks like scrambled eggs. Now, if that's what you're describing, that's fine. Just drain it off and keep going. Sometimes it'll set a firm curd. And it all depends on how much citric acid you've kind of spilled into the milk. So sometimes it look like scrambled eggs, and that's fine as long as the whey goes clear or yellowy, not so it's got to be transparent, so you can see through the whey, and then you know you're on a good thing. You've done the right thing. You've got all the proteins and all that stuff, and then you'll continue to the stretching phase. If the whey is cloudy and the milk looks curdled, then you haven't done a good job, and you probably won't get much out of it except maybe ricotta. So there's a couple of outcomes that'll happen when you add the rennet. Okay. Kim's popping up links left, right, and centre. Thank you, darling. I appreciate it. John has said some nutty cheeses without adding nuts would be whey cheeses such as caramel, toasty, nutty, toffee, and chocolatey tastes, depending on how long you work the proteins into caramelised sugars. Yes, that's a different type of nutty cheese. It's very good. Michael says, are chills your favourite thing? Chills? Oh, sorry, chilies. I had to get closer. Don't know what's going on with these glasses. Are chilies your favourite thing to add to cheese, or is there anything else you like to add as a mix-in? Well, yeah, peppercorns. That's very cool. And looks like we got a super chat from Jim. Thank you, Jim Jackson. Appreciate your $1.99 super chat. Is there a message with it? There's no message. I can't see it. I'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it, mate. So chilies, yeah, I do like chilies in my cheese. It's very nice. Not as much as the triple pepper jack. That was crazy. But I did that for dramatic effect, comedic effect, probably more than anything. But yeah, all sorts of herbs and spices. Have a look at the Borson. Kim, there's the Borson video. Check that out. Had garlic and all sorts of stuff added to it. Chives, absolutely fantastic. And another one that comes to mind is Cotswold. I did a recent update Cotswold video. That was fantastic. Normally I just add dried onions and chives, but this time I added dried chili powder. Sorry, not chili powder, garlic powder. And my goodness, what a difference it made. It was delicious. So very, very nice indeed. Okay. But yeah, you can add lots of herbs and spices, all sorts of things to cheese. Cheese accepts those things quite well. A lot of the manufacturers, though, have I got time? Yeah, just. A lot of manufacturers, though, make the cheese first, then mill it after it's mature and add things to it. They do that with a lot of cheeses these days. Herbert says, yes, I got the email. Thanks. No problems. Dave says, I had some Gruyere maybe, that didn't set and pressed it anyway. What will it do? Should I throw it out? Not sure. Not sure. Don't have pictures. Can't really tell. If you email me some pictures, yep, that'd be cool. Maybe I'll be able to figure it out, but I'll see what happened. Mr. X Guile says, Gouda with MM100, you're the best. Thanks, no probs. Gray's Fang says, I'm having trouble with liquid rennet and making lactose-free mozzarella. I know you made it with a tablet. Should I switch to that? Yeah, it probably would work better, maybe. Um, so I'm using from Rs 50 is the brand name of the tablets that I used, and I over rented. That's why it works better. Um, so yeah, if you want to, I think they're fairly available all throughout the world. From A's 50, it's called. Um, Lisa says, "Hi Gavin, it's 3:55 p.m. on Tuesday. What a time warpy world we have." Um, where are we? I've lost my spot. JT asked the same question again. Thanks, JT. Vash says, "Hey Gavin, are you going to try cottage cheese again?" Also, hello from Shenzhen, China. I can't pronounce that. Sorry, but yeah. Am I going to try cottage cheese again? Yeah, when I get a slow day, I think I'll give it a go. I need to get some raw milk, really, because traditionally that's what they make cottage cheese with, and the milk that I've been using just won't cut it when it comes to cottage cheese. Okay. John says, Crispy, don't have your cheese box in the sock drawer. Yes, because that's where bee linens comes from. It's actually a bacteria that's found, dare I say, between your toes as well. Anyway, Pacific Coast Piper says, what's your favourite dish that uses cheese? Mine is French onion soup. I hope you're using Gruyere with that, because that's the traditional cheese to make French onion soup with. A dish I love cheese. One of my favourite cheesy dishes is well, besides the Glamorgan sausages I made recently, is mushroom risotto. I really love the way that Parmesan or homemade Parmesan or Romano, that style of cheese, goes into risotto. Oh, I tell you what, it is so delicious. Creamy, oozy rice, mushroomy flavour, so nice. There's actually a video. Um, Kim, if you can put the link up to the mushroom risotto, and everybody can check out that. It's very nice. Um, Bull, Bullent says, "Hi Gavin, which is your favourite camembert recipe, fair or making raw with made by cow?" Both. Both were my favourite. If you want one that doesn't ooze everywhere, then obviously the fake camembert, and that is nice. It's firm, it's springy, but creamy, lovely, delicious flavour. The raw milk camembert, um, absolute the creamy ooziness, very much like a camembert de Normandy, very traditional, and both had their merits. I think they're lovely. Kim's not a very big fan of the oozy camemberts, but I love them. They're great. Pablo says hello, Pablo. Oh, there goes the doggo. Yeah, see you later, Holly. Um, Stefano says, good day, mate. G'day. Question, do you have any idea how to do mesophile culture homemade? Thanks, Stefano from Italy. No. If you use raw milk, you've got mesophilic in the raw milk already. So if that's the only way you can really get it. Adding a little bit of buttermilk, cultured buttermilk. I don't know if you can get that there in Italy. You probably can get anything in Italy. It's food lovers paradise. And that has aromatic mesophilic, but not just normal LL and LC mesophilic. It's best to buy it, the DVI. And in fact, the cultures that I use, the Sacco ones, some of them, they're all made in Italy. So you've got one of the biggest culture manufacturers there in your own country. So it's probably easy to buy a packet. Andrew says, hi from South Africa. Our goats feta has been doing so well, we are moving to a small holding to get more goats and make more cheese. So cool. Excellent. Well done, Andrew. Your channel has given us so much. Thanks for the good content. Appreciate it. Thanks, Andrew. Herbert says, thanks. Sorry for the spelling. That's all right, mate. Zorana says, hi, Gavin. I made your Havarti recipe twice, and it always goes flat after a week in the cave. What do you think I've done wrong? Thank you in advance. Yeah, Havarti does tend to do that. It did it to me as well. It went a little bit flat. And I've since diagnosed the issue is that I probably need to stir the curds a bit longer. Too much whey in the curds, and therefore it flattens. So maybe extend the stirring period of the Havarti after at the final wash to another 20 minutes. And I think that'll firm it right up and it'll be nice. But not too firm, but because Havarti's pretty pretty soft as it is. So you don't want it too firm, of course. Matthew Gerwitz says, "G'day, Curd Nerds." G'day, mate. DN Hug says, "Love your channel. Best regards from Switzerland." We've got a truly multinational cheese community here. That's what I love about this channel. Laura says, "Caramel whey recipe sent." Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. I'll check that out. What time is it? Oh, 4 minutes to go. My goodness. I'm not going to get to all these questions. Let's do one or two more. Jerry. Hello, Jerry. Says Jerry here from Canada. Made your kefili recipe. Only 3.5 weeks old, yet so complete tasting. Wonderful texture, tangy, nutty, and a little bit like Lancashire. Or Lancashire. Thanks for another winner. Nah, mate, you're most welcome. It is a delicious cheese. JT says, I have the fake camembert, aka stabilised paste, washed curd, bloomy rind cheese cubed. Well done, mate. Yeah, check it out after live chat. Alrighty. And the thing from Jim Jackson was a little sticker called Yum. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. All right. So, Kim has not given me the wind up yet. 3 minutes ago. Let's have a look at the last few questions. JB says, my favourite part of Parmigiano Reggiano is the salt crystal bits throughout. What other cheeses have this same characteristic? Those salt crystals, yeah, there are mineral salt. They are calcium lactate crystals, could be, or tyrosol, something. What the heck is it? Nope, I've lost it. I probably got the word right the first time. Whatever pops in your mind the first time round is usually the right one. Other cheeses, anything aged over 12 months. So usually you'll find it in some old age Goudas. You'll also find those crystals in some very old aged cheddars. You'll get the same development. They're two that I know of and that I've found and tasted. So yeah, they work quite well. And we've got a super chat, another one. Goodness me. You know what I hate about iPhones? Face ID. Crazy. This is from Hey Cards 650. Cool username. Hey, have a good week, buddy. Take care. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate it. Hey. And there's another one, and that's from Jerry. G'day, Jerry. Oh, goodness me, they're all going off now like a frog in a sock. Thank you, Jerry. And Jerry doesn't have any no question, but thank you so much for your Canadian $5 super chat, Jerry. Okay, and Kim's given me the wound up. Fantastic. Thanks. But yeah, sorry I couldn't get to everybody's questions. I think there was only a couple I missed, but that's cool. So if you want to check out the store, don't forget to pop over to littlegreenworkshops.com.au, which is that one there. That's my shop. Find that little banner thing there. Very cool. And yeah, we ship globally from the cheese making category. So yeah, you can check out all the good gear there. And there's a... Oh no, it's just taken a while for that to come up. That's crazy. Okay. So yeah, you can buy stuff over the store, and we ship worldwide, which a lot of people in the chat can attest to, and it all gets there, and it all works, which is cool. And don't forget, you can support us via Patreon or YouTube membership. You can hit the join button below, or there's links in the description below as well to both of those. And the merch link, you'll see the merch shelf down below somewhere as well. You can pick up cool cups like this one, Certified Curd Nerd, and T-shirts. Oh, here we go. I'll stand up. Whoop, Certified Curd Nerd. All that sort of good stuff. It's all there. Thank you. Do I have... Somebody says, do you offer courses for cheese production at commercial level? No, there is a course for home cheese makers, and let's see if I can find it, and I'll put the link in if YouTube lets me. There we go. Come on, computer. Near the end, you can do it. Here we are. Here's the course for anybody who's interested. You get to learn how to make 9 different cheeses. Anyway, there's the course. Thank you so much for your time today. Without your questions, we wouldn't have a show. It wouldn't not happen. But thank you so much. Yeah, I'll schedule the next one. Not sure when that'll be. Might even be as early as next week, next Tuesday. And we'll just check out the schedule on the channel for that. But thanks, everybody. Thanks, Curd Nerds, for joining me and asking all the great questions. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks. Bye-bye.